everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fun and expressive parts of character design, stylizing eyes. Eyes are small, but they carry so much personality, emotion and power. For this video, I'm working on a character design by a concept that popped up in my feed recently. You might know him, you might not. Silas is from Love and Deep Space. It is a new game that I came across. I noticed it when Dragon Silas popped up on my feed and I thought his design was really interesting. So I decided to look more in depth into the game, and I just love their character design. I love how they animate everything. Everything is just gorgeous in this game, so I just had to draw it. Now before we get into it, I want you to think about how eyes can tell a story. Are they intense, soft, playful, mysterious? For Silas, the idea is to create something that feels otherworldly, an eye that feels like it's staring right into your soul, but with a touch of warmth. If you've played the game and you know what I'm talking about, great. I'm not going to put any spoilers here for the game, but Silas's eyes are very important to his character, so I really want that emotion to be portrayed in this artwork. Before I get into it, I don't want to hear any excuses. This whole drawing was done with an airbrush and the hard round brush, so no matter what your materials or supplies are, you will be able to draw. Okay, so we're a little bit into the video now, but I'm going to talk about my sketching phase, which was very quick. It probably took me 5 seconds to get, not 5 seconds, that's a bit of an exaggeration. It took like 5 minutes to get a very rough shape of Silas's eye. You could see when I was analysing it, he's got this exaggerated almond shape, almost like a parallelogram. And that is a really good base for drawing, especially male eyes. They have more angular shapes, their hoods of their lids are usually deeper. So this shape feels elegant, but also a little bit intimidating, which works perfectly for Silas. I mostly refine my shapes in the rendering stage by individually blending each line and deciding how hard or soft I want it to be. And as I refine those shapes, I'm keeping the upper lid a little bit heavier and a bit more angular to give the eye a more commanding presence. The lower lid stays soft, adding a little bit of contrast, but when sketching eyes for your characters, think about how much the shape of their eye can define their personality. Rounded shapes can feel friendlier or curious, while sharper lines are a bit more mysterious and dangerous. I add personally just a few lashes, not too many. We don't want them to distract from the focal point, which will be Silas's iris. These little details frame the eye without overpowering it. Especially for males, it is important to emphasize the correct parts of the eyelashes, because you don't want male eyes to look feminine when that's not what you're going for. So sometimes you're not individually drawing each lash, but maybe you're just putting a shadow on the eyelid, and this is kind of what determines how feminine your character or eye is going to come across. I would like to think when you look at this eye, you automatically know it's a male eye and not a female eye, and if I wanted to feminize it, I would add more eyelashes. I would add a rounder shape. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're stylizing your eyes as well. With my sketch in place, I'm moving on to the base colours. For the skin tone around the eye, I'm using a muted beige, keeping it very neutral so the colours of the iris will really pop. For the sclera, which is the white part of the eye, I'm avoiding pure white. Instead, I'm using a very light grey with a hint of blue. Sometimes I also like to use purple. It really depends on your colour palette, because while eyes are never pure white, they're usually a little bit blue. It does depend on the colours around them. Now I could do a whole other video on colour theory if you're interested in that, but it's kind of, you do have to feel out what exact colour you want for your eye, but never go for pure white. For the iris, I really like the bright red as the base colour. Burgundy is also quite rich and dramatic, and it immediately sets the tone for the rest of the design. Around the edges, I add a little soft black to add depth, and it makes the iris feel like it's pulling you in. If you play the game, you will know exactly what I'm going for here. Even though right now it looks very flat, you can see me refining all of these edges, and you can already see the eye coming to life. The fun part is layering all of these colours. It's not just one colour over and over again. You're layering with a low opacity brush, pulling blush from the cheeks into the eye, pulling the red into some other part of the drawing, and just constantly layering. And again, this is all with the hard round brush, and I blend with the airbrush. I use different intensities of each color. I use different hues, different shades, and it's just a constant back and forth, and that's the fun part. The part you're watching right now is kind of the rendering phase, where you can see me going back and forth, layering colors over and over again, using a very low opacity brush, again just the hard round brush, and blending with the airbrush, balancing hard and soft edges and different tones and shades. And this is where you have fun and you find what feels right for you. This is typically the stage of the drawing that takes the longest. Everything looks quite blurry and unrefined right now, and after a lot of back and forth it will slowly start coming together. As you can see, the process is quite, not tedious, but definitely, I don't know if unrefined is the right word either, but it is a lot of bouncing from one side of the drawing to the other, zooming in, zooming out, seeing what looks right. And for me, I'm really trying to balance the tones and getting the correct contrast. So here I wanted to darken the eye line, and I think I go in and darken the, I'm so sorry, that was my phone. I go in and darken the iris here as well, because I just didn't think it had enough depth. And a little trick for this is, if you put a layer of black at the top of your drawing and then set it to saturation, you'll really easily be able to toggle that on and off and see the values of your drawing. I'm gonna have a little intermission where you can enjoy the drawing process of this, and I will pop back in a few minutes and finish up. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments below. If you're interested in following along with my art, check out the description for my Instagram page and all of my other social media along with my Etsy store. I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye!